Okay, so we're back out and we're going to work on this door, and the plan here is to finish off this door in this episode. We'll see if we also get up to looking at this bit as well. This is called the skirting or the apron or something like that, but then the drain is just here. So we're going to have to look at both of those at some point. And of course there's this bit back here as well which we need to look at. Whether I put that in the door, I don't know. So so that's what we're going to work on. So we're going to start by doing a few small patches for these bits which are burning through, and having done a few small patches we will move on and do the actual skin. So that's the plan. So I've got here my template in cardboard which goes across, and it's not quite touching here, but I'm going to put that against a flat edge. And so as long as this bit's against the flat edge and that corner's against the flat edge of where I'm cutting from, then I should be okay. And if there's a bit of trimming that needs to be done at that point, fine. Now down here I'm just going to the edge. I haven't folded it around, as we can see. Okay, so I've just kept it along the edge there like that. And what I'm going to do is I'll mark out this on my metal, and then I will add on a flange around it of I need to check roughly what is it on here. What does it look like? I guess about 1 centimetre. So about 1 centimetre where it's straight, and then less where it's curved. And at this far corner over here we'll also have a flange out this way, and we will then cut across at the bottom so that we've got them welding in together. So that's the idea. There's not enough space here to bend the metal around, so this is going to have to be this bit that I did underneath is going to have to be, as part of the frame, ground down a bit. So we'll do that as well. So the next thing we're going to do is try measuring this out onto metal and cutting from there. Okay, so I've transferred the template over. I'm going to check it again once more just to make sure, because the first time I did it I butted the front edge all the way up against here, so of course I didn't have anything to fold over, so I had to do it again. But if we just lay this on now, we lay it on like that, then you can see we're cutting around on that outer line. If I've ended up with a little bit too much, then that's fine, because I can do something with that and I can grind it down. Having too little would be a little bit more difficult. So that's what we're going for. That's where we're going to cut along, and then we will hold it up and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's our metal cut out. Clearly I need to clean it off a bit along the bottom there. But if we go round to the other side, we can see it's hanging below, so we've got a decent flange there to wrap over, which is good. So I've just got to decide now, really. I'm not sure when to do the wrapping. Do I try bending it first? I think I'm going to have to bend it a bit to get it to fit, and then finish it off at the end. And of course I'm going to have to it needs plug welds, so I'm also going to have to drill some holes in order to do that. So so do I do the drill out the holes first? I think that's probably the easiest. It doesn't really matter if they're in the wrong place as long as they're not too far in. So if we do the holes first, and then we can bend it, and then we can try a fit again. Okay, that sounds like a plan, but I'm going to go and have some lunch in order to pontificate a little bit more and just make sure I'm comfortable with that approach. I decided on a slightly different approach. I don't need many plug welds, so I just did a few, and small ones, just so when I fold it over I can weld it in place. And I didn't do the fold before. I decided that I was getting the fold in exactly the right place was going to be too hard. And so I decided that I would weld it on up top, and then I could use hammer and dolly to try to fold over the edge. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Now it might prove to be an extremely bad decision, but so I've welded it in, which actually doesn't look too bad. I need to grind that down to get it flat, and then we'll use filler as usual to get it perfectly smooth, but actually that's looking okay. And so I think I'm going to walk away and let it cool for a bit, because that's quite a lot of welding. I stitch welded it, so to spread the heat out a bit, which I think you can see. So we're going to walk away. Oh, and I did grind down this edge over here. I don't know if I showed you that before. A little bit. So I think that is the edge that's going to be the hardest to fold in because of how much little space I have. Oh, and I didn't cut the corner off. Blast. Oh well. So I think that's going to be the hardest bit to do. But what we'll do, I think, is we'll start at the bottom. I don't know what I'm going to do, but right now I'm going to walk away for a bit, let it cool down, and then come down a bit refreshed. Okay, so we've managed to fold it underneath, and what we used is basically a hammer and dolly to get it started, and then I couldn't get it much past. I got it past the 90 degrees and started coming up, but I couldn't really crimp it shut, so I ended up using these to crimp it shut, which is why we got these marks along here. So we'll end up with some filler along here. As you can see in this corner here, I cut this. I can't get this around, and I'm just thinking about what I'm going to do here because I've hit it, trying to bend it, and it's knocked the weld out. So that's not great, and I might have to take the door off to deal with that bit, but we'll see. Then on the other side here, what we can see is along here, so these weld holes that I put end up being a bit low, so we're going to change those into drain holes, and we will just put a few tack welds along the top to hold it in place. I mean, it's fairly secure anyway, so we'll do some tack welds along the top to hold it in place, and then put seam sealer in to make sure we don't particularly get water in, but if water does get in, then it's got somewhere to get out. So that's the way we're going to do it. When we look to shut in the door, So clearly we've got to fold that side over still, and then it's not bad, apart from this corner here, and you can see I've come up a bit early, and then I can't quite get this to come up any further, so it's a bit close there. But you know what, I think I can live with that. I don't think I've noticed it once we get going. What I have just noticed though, which I hadn't before, is I got filler here, so I bet this is all rusty in here. If I clean it out, and I hadn't noticed that until just now. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a think about how to deal with this bit of the front and how we get that bent inside. I really think I'm going to have to take it off to do it. I can't think of another way, to be honest, because you can see the marks I'm making here, trying to get at it, and in fact that's from this now as well, opening and shutting. So I just can't get the angle, and even if I could, I don't think I'd get it bending in the right place. So I think we're going to have to take it off to do that. So what did we do in the end here? Well, I had a couple of problems. First of all, the flange that I had in there was too big, that I couldn't bend it past here without hitting this. It took me a while to realise that, as you can see. And then the next bit was it really needed doing. Well, long story short, is what I decided to do was cut out a little triangle, as you can see there, and fold that over on the bench and then weld it into place, which is what I've done. So I haven't looked at the inside yet, I've just done that. If we take a look there, and then if we go inside, and can I get it in view? Well, I can see it, but I don't know how well it's coming out. But it's this here, and it's just folded right across. So I'll need to weld it on this side, but actually that works quite well. So that was the solution I came up with in the end for it. And so I think I'm going to take another break. We might stop for the night, or my only reason for coming back out might be to tidy up. But I'm quite pleased with that so far. So tomorrow, grind down some of those welds, and then fiberglass filler, and then filler to try to get it nice and smooth. So yeah, that's the plan. So that looking okay. Okay, so we've got a skim coat there of fiberglass filler on, which we will sand down and then try to get body shape with regular filler. So that's progressing okay. Meanwhile, I thought I'd take a look at this hole here whilst this is drying, whilst the filler's drying, so I can sand it. We'll look at this. So this is for the rear quarter window, which I've got up here. Now I don't have one of these brackets, and you can't buy them. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to fabricate that. And I'm going to have to drill out these two broken off rivets. So to do that I'm going to pull, and I hope that'll be okay, this frame off. It's screwed on this side. So I think if I just pull it, it should break the seal. Certainly it does on the other one. So we're going to pull that off, drill out those, and fabricate something like that. Meanwhile, waiting for this paint down here, which is just a bit of hammerite, to dry over that area. And then we've got two pieces here. This one that goes all the way down, which I guess is the B-post. Pillar, something like that, and then this one inside, which appears to connect up to the body here, but is part of the frame, and fundamentally it's where there's a a nut for this to bolt on. So that's what we're going to do now. This is, I can't believe this is steel. Well, it must be stainless steel, I think, because rather than being chromed, so I'm going to assume it's stainless steel. And so what I'm going to use for that is, I have over here an old stainless steel kettle, and I have used part of it before. Can't remember which part, can't seem to find it. Oh, I know I've used some of this somewhere before, or I used from the spout here. So we'll cut out a bit of this stainless steel, clean it up, and try to cut a piece and replicate what we have out there. So it's not the prettiest hinge, but my first two attempts were far worse, and I think I'll be able to make that work. You got to remember, it's going to be hidden behind chrome work, so I'm not too fussed by that. So it's fixed on with a couple of rivets, and yeah, that I'll probably give that a quick file just to flatten it out a bit. But yeah, like I said, not the prettiest, but we get a chrome strip along here which will cover it up. And to be honest, I don't ever expect to be opening it. I don't ever expect anyone to be in the back seat of this car, because it is a 1970s back seat, you know, on a 2+2, no seat belts. I mean, I wouldn't go in there, and I wouldn't want to drive someone in there. So this is really just to be able to close it up and hold it secure. So I still need to do the inside. Let's take this out. So I still need to deal with that in there, but for now we've got the hinges in place. So there we have the door finished. It does have quite a lot of filler on that to get the shape, and you can see around this bottom corner, so I haven't got it quite right. So I might be sanding some of that off and applying a bit more filler. It shows up, the discrepancies show up a lot more when the paint is on than beforehand. But on the inside, if we've got the light, we can see that all. That's just been painted in assassin black rather than the jet black of the car, but it's kind of out of sight, so I'm not fussed by that. So that's that section done. What we're going to move on to now is, we've already discussed it a little bit, is this corner in here. So we've done the bit on the window frame itself. We now need to fix that rust, build in a bit of metal there, and so we're going to do that next, and we're going to have to come back in here as well and look at what to do there. So those are the next bits. And yeah, nothing else to say. Those are the next two bits to look at, so that's what we're going to do. 2 days have passed for me, and I've still got this door here moved on, because I haven't been happy with the finish. It's been obviously looking scratchy or dents all the time. Now I know it looks a mess now, but now... and it seems to happen, you know, you sand it down, you put in the filler, you think it's got its flat, and then you go and paint it, and it comes out not being quite flat. And you can see tiny little dents or scratches. So I think I've now got those out, and I think actually that corner even looks a little bit better in terms of the curve. So I think I'm now happy to move on, and so I am going to move on tonight to try and do this little bit in here, which you can't really see because it's all black now rather than rusty. And so I'm going to have to try to work out how I can cut it out, because I don't really have a small cutter to get in here. So I might just grind this down, grind it up so that I have a clean edge, and then just a square piece across the top with a bracket. Now it does actually go inside, but I might just I don't know, I'll have a look a bit closer, get some lights on it and take a better look. Right, so I've fabricated a little piece for that area with a bolt welded on, and I've just zinc primed it, so I'm leaving that to dry. This is the next bit, which I'm dreading getting this stuff off and seeing what's under there. Partly because I think I'm worried that it's going to mean I end up having to take this wing off. But we'll start by taking I'll try a wire brush, but I think a wire wheel. But I think I'm going to have to take a grinding disc to it to clear this off and see what it looks like. So that's next. Okay, so got it mostly cleared. Just to give you some idea of how bad it was. I don't know really what I look like, or if I can show myself properly here. You can hopefully see just all the dust on me and all the dust that's come up. Still, this is what we've got. So, got a nice big bit of rust along here. That's right there is a bolt that holds the wing. Yeah, that's a bolt that holds the wing on. So I've got a bit more to clear just here. But there should be a bit of metal that comes down here, and then I think there should be a bit that comes across and covers that up as well. So this almost looks to me like it could be done, and I need to check the other side and see what it looks like. But this looks to me like it could be done with a piece down here, a piece to cover those, and so that might be two, and then something in here as well. So that looks like it's possible to me. Yeah, that does look like it's possible to me. So we're going to clean it up a bit better. In fact, what we'll try to do is I'll try to get it cleaned up tonight and spray it with some zinc so that it's ready to work on. And then I think we'll look at trying to patch in some pieces. We won't get perfect patch, but I'd rather have it metal than filler like that. So, and I think I can do it without having to take it out. So I think that's what we'll try to do. Yeah. But oh god, that was dusty. Went through two of my little grinding bits. Just came off their stalks, so to speak. So it really took some some time. That anyway, that's what we have. Right, we're going to clear up for the night now, but got this fitted back in place. And a little bit of paint on there just to secure it. So this window now opens. Ta-da! And shuts again. Not that it'll ever be particularly opened. And then this bit will get covered in some chrome. So that will be okay. And we finished cleaning up at the front here. And we've got some zinc primer on there just so that it's got some paint on it. and tomorrow we'll start looking at how to fix this section. So yeah, some progress, and you know, looking better all the time. Well, I don't know, feels like it to me anyway, others might disagree. Okay, so this is what we've done. So all of that filler that was in there we've replaced with, there's a little patch here and then 3 bigger patches. Didn't cut this properly and got that a bit wrong, so but it's, other than that, it looks pretty good. So we're going to put some fiberglass filler over it just to, well, deal with this primarily, but pick up any, you know, there's a little bit of a hole here as well, so just pick up those small holes. So we'll get some fiberglass filler over there and sand that on, and then I'll consider that okay for painting. So yeah, I think that's, for me, that's a lot better than just the amount of filler we had in there before. And we have, you know, got rid of what rust was there, so I'm quite happy with that. So once we've done that, it'll be the end of this episode. Now, whether or not we'll see. I might choose to finish the episode, or I might show you it once I've put on the filler and stuff. So there we have it, painted with a bit of satin black, using the fiberglass filler just to cover up any pinholes and flatten it out a bit. So yeah, quite pleased with that really, looking okay. And so that means we're moving on from tomorrow to the rear passenger side, and we're going to, well, we'll first start by assessing just how much of it is just filler and how much is rust, and you know, and how much, you know, actually has metal in there to hold the filler, because I've got no problem with that. And then I don't have a wing in order to use as a template, so I'll have to try to create my templates prior to cutting, I think, and try to do it that way. So that's the plan for tomorrow.